So, Steen, I'd like you to tell me what you wanted to say about SP when you first started SP. Now, this was years and years ago
Yes,
when
it
you
was.
first saw the convention. So I'd like
Uh,
to know what you thought of it when you first saw it. Okay.
when I first saw it. Okay, so I have to just talk a little about it because it's important to know where I was coming from.
Mhm.
So I came from the regression to cause work. And so for me, it was kind of, okay, there must be a way to get the outcomes with less, let's say, stress for the client, to get a faster outcome and to get a little more holistic. So I was sitting in that presentation where you were doing the demo, and this was like this. So for all the years I did the regression to cause therapy, which were a few years and a couple of hundreds or thousand clients, it was always the looking for the holy grail to get better results. So, and then I was sitting in this presentation at the convention, and it was just, even though there wasn't a window, it was so as if the light was shining in, and this is the thing you were looking for. So, and that is what I'm telling everyone who's asking me about Simpson Protocol. And for me, it was kind of the holy grail I was looking for, because it's way easier to help the clients to get better outcomes. So I don't want to say regression is worst. It's second place in my toolbox as a therapist. So it was just the beginning of a journey, and a journey of faster and better results.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very good. And I also wanted to say, well, you've been teaching this for quite a few years now, and it's changed a lot over that time.
Yes, it changed. And this is a thing that I really like about it, because it's kind of a consistent or permanent change. So all the time, something is just, we take stuff off of it, which is not quite, I will not say not important, but with all the changes, we get it just a little better workflow and a little faster. So when I remember, my first sessions always took 2 to 3 hours, and nowadays the clients leave the office after 90 minutes, and everything is done, everything is covered. So, and
That
this
means
is
the first session. Yeah.
first, yes, of
Yeah.
course, first
Yeah.
session. So, but I think this is due to the consistent change that is, or let's not say change, the ongoing development of the wonderful protocol.
Yeah. So I noticed, from my point of view, it's so many people have taken SP, so many different trainers have taken SP on, and everybody uses it in a different way.
But
They all use it. It's used for anything.
Yes.
Right? So some people are using it for cancer. Some people, they're using every facet everywhere. So we work with anything, and I mean anything. And people don't get this. They say, well, what do I do? SP, So it's just developing what you have and making it stronger all the time.
Yeah, and I think it is important to know that you can use Simpson Protocol for everything. Yeah, and so this kind of, someone who's new with SP, sometimes they pop up and should say, oh, has anyone experiences with that, or how can I do this? And for me, I always say to my students, just follow the protocol. And if you want to add something, just add it, as long as you follow the philosophy of Simpson Protocol. And you treat everything from nail biting to OCD to cancer to other severe illnesses. So it's the tool.
Yeah.
or as
And if the person is open to it, yeah,
and if
and
there
now
is not,
allowing it, you know,
yeah,
people with cancer, there's bigger sort of issues. They have to be relatively open to it.
yes, and they may have to, maybe we should help them to open, or to open themselves, or sometimes it's just, you
Yes,
know,
and
something
that's, yeah,
developing during the process. So what I always say is not every therapist is good for every issue. So sometimes you better say, because you said someone with cancer, I think cancer it's tough work and it needs a tough therapist or a tough hypnotist. So maybe not everybody is open for that, but if the client is open for the possibilities, then you can just go and do the big change with Simpson Protocol.
that's right.
So I just wanted to add something at the beginning, because some years ago there was this criminal defense lawyer, and he said something which was, for me, it was kind of impressive, because he said, you know, all the other hypnotherapy stuff is just therapy methods in hypnosis. But here we are doing hypnosis. We are just using most of the power or of the sources of everything here, not only the brain, but
The
spirit,
mind, yeah,
mind, however we want to call it.
yeah,
And I think this is the important thing, just to be open and to see where the protocol leads us.
yeah. And it's a holistic method. That means it's all around. So that means you're going to be asking spiritual questions. You're going to be asking mental questions. You're going to be asking physical questions. It's just going to cover everything, everything that touches the mind. So the person, if they're open to it, and it's very easy.
It is. It is kind of, I would say it's the easiest hypnosis method you can use, even if it looks a little complex at the beginning, because a lot of stuff. But if you just follow the protocol, it's so easy, because you can't do anything wrong.
Yes. You can't do anything. Now, also, what that brings me to is to say that they don't have to be hypnotists. They can be anybody. They can have Reiki background. They can have anything. It doesn't matter what they are if they're open to it.
Yeah, open. And so I remember one of the last trainings I did, there was a guy sitting in the training, and, you know, at the beginning there is, I'm here for this or that. And he said, well, I have no therapeutic background. I have no coaching background. I am a janitor in a school, but I'm here because I want to help my wife. So this was the reason why he took this training. And I think, no, not I don't think, I know that everyone who wants to help someone else can take this training, because they will benefit. So the person who takes the training, and also the persons or the people who get the work done by the person who took the training.
Well, and we do get hypnotists to take our training, because you had hypno school. So you always, they have a very smooth transition into SP.
Sure, because it's kind of hypnosis work. So a hypnotist always has kind of a foot in the door, and maybe they get it a little easier, but that depends on their initial trainings and also their open mind. So I think it's for everyone.
Yeah.
And you know what I really like, Ines, is that with the early 2020, we had to change a little and have to take the training from offline to the online world. And so what I can say after almost around about 500 students who took the training online is that it is way easier online because it's in little blocks or little parts, which makes it easier to get it, to connect it, to answer the right questions, because it's not that 4-day power input, it's in the small tiny pieces. And so from what I think is that people who take it as an online training have way more benefits than with an offline training. So when people call me and say, hey, I want to learn Simpson Protocol, what's the difference between online and offline? And I always say, well, you can take the offline training, but I won't recommend it. Just take the online training, is way better. You get more stuff, you get it in the little pieces. I am there, it's easy, and you can work from everywhere. So yeah, this is what I would say for an online training is way better than the offline version. And the good thing is, with an online training, it doesn't matter where you are or where the student is. So
yeah, and what I like about it is that they can get comfortable because they decide where their comfort world is. It doesn't have to be in a straight up chair and watching. It can be, they can have the recliner ready. They can have everything. So they are in their own environment, and it keeps them exactly where they are in charge.
Nothing to add here, but just one more little thing. The good thing is that if you do it as an online training, you also get a little comfortable with the whole technique stuff, the online stuff, which helps to work online with clients. Because I always say, when I talk to clients, I say, well, let's do it as an online session, because then we can work there where you usually have your problem and not in my office. So not every client wants this, but I think it helps the people to get to take the stress out of the online work.
Well, I've done online work for 4 years or so, and very little live work, maybe 1%.
Yeah,
it's true.
Pretty good. I like that. And you know what I really like on the way that we will do this training together, Ines, is that people get different aspects, because you were the creator, the founder, you gave birth to Simpson Protocol, and so you have your style, your way. And even though as I'm very close to you in the whole process, I do things a little different. So someone who takes this training will get the benefits from the creator and from me as one of your oldest trainers. And I think that is, bringing the German engineering into Simpson Protocol with all the good stuff that was already done before.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really good, because everybody, we now have something like 17 trainers, and they're all different, and they all have different aspects that they do differently. But it's important to know that everyone can do this and be their style.
Step into kind of a new world of coaching and therapy.
Yes.
With faster, better results.
And I think all they need to really have, once they get going, once they understand how it works, is that they have to have complete trust in the superconscious.
Which is always the most important thing. I always tell that to my clients. I always say, you don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust in whatever we are doing here. It's important that you have trust in yourself and what comes up there. And this is the same thing I say to the students. the most important thing for success with Simpson Protocol is trust.
Okay, so there's one question that comes up quite often, and they want to know how they're going to practice online with other people.
Yeah, we can't do practice online. No, I'm kidding. So the good thing is, so I really like that because, you know, we can split up the attendees into so-called breakout sessions where they can practice on each other with other people who are taking the training. And this is another very important stuff. You know, I always say, I can tell you the theoretical stuff, or I can teach it in 4 hours. But what you won't get in these 4 hours is all the experience as a practitioner or as the client. So everything we teach in this online training, they will practice in little sessions. And the good thing for me as the trainer is that I can just be in this session with a little click on my mouse. So, and this is way more easier than in an offline training because I can be there in just a second. So sometimes it happened in an offline training that people was looking, okay, where is he? Where is he? I need a little help. And online, it's easy because they just have to click and then something pops up on my screen and I am there in a second, which makes it way more easier. And you can just, so what I always do in this training, if I see something which could be better, I just use the chat and type it in so they can read it after the session. And I don't have to remember or to have to make notes. So it's beneficial for everyone. And they can take as long as they want, because what we usually do is we do this at the end of an online session. We do the practice work, so no one has stress because, oh, we are the last group and all the others are waiting. That won't happen. Take the time you need.
Well, that really works. I think the only thing now we tell them now is it's going to be an English training. And you're German, and I speak English. I don't speak German. So it'll be an English training.
It is English, of course.
Yeah. And it's all the time zones in Europe. It's all the time zones in the UK, and even sneak in a bit of America.
If they, it's in the afternoon for the US people. So for the East Coast, so not for the West Coast. If you are there, it's in the morning. So and you are also in the West Coast, so they don't. No one has to worry. It's the best time zone is Central European time, so fits to everyone.
So we'll see you all there.